Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am Dr. Jamil Ahmed Siddiqui, Assistant Professor, Department of Biochemistry, FRPMC. Today our topic is vitamin D. Chemical name is cholecalciferol. Learning outcomes. At the end of this lecture, you would be able to know sources, requirement, absorption, transport, and storage of vitamin D. You will learn conversion to active form, which perform the biological function, and this conversion of active form of vitamin D is in our body and its biochemical functions. The vitamin D acts like a hormone, though it is classified as a vitamin, so we will also justify that it acts like a hormone. We will study clinical aspects, recent correlation with certain diseases, and would comprehend its serum levels, deficiency, disorders, and toxicity. Let us review with the definition of vitamins. The vitamins are heterogeneous organic compounds that are required in our diet to maintain the normal functions of metabolism. However, vitamin D and niacin, that is vitamin B3, can be formed in our body. Vitamins are broadly classified into water soluble and fat soluble. Water soluble, they comprise non-B complex, that is vitamin C, and B complex. And in the B complex, in the energy releasing are thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, biotin, and pantothenic acid. While hemopoietics are folic acid and vitamin B12. Others are pyridoxine, pyridoxal, pyridoxamine. These are important in protein and amino acid metabolism. The fat-soluble vitamins are 4: vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin E. A, D, E, K. Vitamin D, we have to start today with the vitamin D, and chemically it is known as cholecalciferol. Sources of vitamin D. Vitamin D is not strictly a vitamin. Rather, it is a group of structurally related compounds classified as sterols that have hormone-like functions, and they act as prohormones. They are converted into active form, which performs its function like a hormone. Ergocalciferol, vitamin D2, it is plant in origin and nutritionally has less value. Cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, found in animal tissues. Fish liver oil is the richest source. Other sources include egg yolk, margarine, lard, milk, butter, and cheese. Endogenous vitamin precursor. As already told you that vitamin D is synthesized in our body, so it has a precursor which is present in our body. If you review or recall the cholesterol synthesis in the liver, more than 50% cholesterol is synthesized in our body in the organ of liver, while less than 50% is coming from the diet. 7-dehydrocholesterol, also known as provitamin D3, it is an intermediate in cholesterol synthesis in our liver. It is circulated in the blood and carried to the skin and other body tissues, and it is converted into cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3. But this conversion takes place in the Melifian layer of epidermis of human exposed to the sunlight. When humans are exposed to the sunlight, the Melifian layer in the epidermis, this 7-dehydrocholesterol or provitamin D3 is converted to cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, under the influence of sunlight, which is absorbed into the bloodstream and again circulates in the body and converted into active form in the liver and kidney, where hydroxylation takes place. And that active form, it is not the vitamin D3, rather the hydroxylated form of vitamin D3 which is active. And this conversion of provitamin, that is intermediate of cholesterol synthesis, to cholecalciferol in the epidermis is non-enzymatic photolysis reaction under the sunlight, and it is only the intramolecular rearrangement. This intramolecular rearrangement during photolysis under sunlight is directly related to the intensity and exposure to the light. More bright light and longer the period, more synthesis of cholecalciferol in the epidermis. And it is inversely related to the extent of pigmentation in the skin. Darker people, Africans and Asians, they need more sunlight to convert this intermediate, that is 7-dehydrocholesterol, into cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, which is converted to its active form in the liver and kidney by the process of hydroxylation. We will study later on, which performs its biological functions in our body. It is the structural presentation of the sterols related to vitamin D. Ergocalciferol present in the diet coming from the plants. Cholecalciferol, vitamin D3 coming from animals present in our diet. Both are interconvertible. 7-dehydrocholesterol, it is the endogenous precursor of vitamin D3. This is an intermediate in the synthesis of cholesterol in the liver of our body. The structural difference, try to understand so that it would give you understanding of the chemical reactions and biological functions. This 7-dehydrocholesterol is related with the cholesterol, structurally almost similar. 8-carbon branched hydrocarbon side chain, 3 fused 6-membered rings A, B, C, and 1 D ring is 5-carbon structure. So it is cyclopentano-phenanthrene structure having 1 OH group similar to that of steroid. Double bond between 5 and 6, that is 5,6 cholesterol, is present in the steroid nucleus. Only a double bond between 7 and 8 is created and 1 hydrogen molecule is removed. So this intermediate of cholesterol synthesis is called 7-dehydrocholesterol. That is, 1 hydrogen molecule is removed from 7 and carbon number 8. So named 7-dehydrocholesterol. This 7-dehydrocholesterol is provitamin and converted into vitamin D3 under the exposure of the sunlight, and photolysis takes place. Now this cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, and ergocalciferol, vitamin D2 from plant, D3 from animal, they have the similar structure with 1 bond broken in ring B and having side chains. This ergocalciferol having 9 carbon side chain, while cholecalciferol has 8 carbon side chain. Here it is a double bond and there is no double bond. So this is the structural difference between cholesterol, 7-dehydrocholesterol, cholecalciferol, and ergocalciferol. I repeat, ergocalciferol and cholecalciferol, vitamin D2, vitamin D3, have the similar structure. Only 1 carbon or methyl group is more here, having double bond. 1 methyl group is less, having no double bond. Between the difference between the vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. This vitamin D3 is also synthesized in the epidermis from the provitamin, that is 7-dehydrocholesterol, intermediate of cholesterol synthesis, and in the skin this is synthesized into cholecalciferol. This cholecalciferol or vitamin D, it is the main vitamin, but it is not biological active, and it has to be converted into biological active form by two hydroxylation reactions, one taking place in the liver and other taking place in the kidney. Then if hydroxylated twice, this cholecalciferol becomes the dihydroxycholecalciferol, which is biological active. Let us see this in the diagram. In the skin, there is 7-dehydrocholesterol. Under sunlight, photolysis takes place and cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, is synthesized. This cholesterol, vitamin D3, circulates in the body, again goes to the liver. Liver provides 7-dehydrocholesterol because this synthesizes the cholesterol, and this is the intermediate. When under the sunlight in the epidermis, it is converted into cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3. It goes to the liver again. And vitamin D3 from fish and meat, and vitamin D2 from supplements or plants in origin, it is also absorbed and goes to the liver. All three, vitamin D3 from diet, vitamin D2 from plants, this vitamin D3 from the epidermis of the skin, goes to the liver, and first hydroxylation takes place, and a calcidiol having two hydroxyl group, it is formed, that is 25-hydroxy vitamin D3, and another hydroxylation takes place in the kidney. Now it is 125-dihydroxy vitamin D3. This dihydroxy having two additional OH groups of vitamin D3, it is the active form, and this performs the biological function, and this is the main vitamin which controls the calcium homeostasis in our body. Absorption, transport, and storage of vitamin D. Like other fat-soluble vitamins, bile salts help in absorption of vitamin D from duodenum and jejunum. After absorption from the GIT, it is carried to the liver in chylomicron droplets of the lymph. While in the blood, it circulates and bound with the vitamin D binding protein. It is not transported free, and it is rather bound with the vitamin D binding protein DBP, which is a globulin in nature. When it is bound with the globulin DBP, it circulates in the body, in the blood plasma, and carried to the liver for first hydroxylation at 25 position of the side chain. When first obligatory reaction of hydroxylation of cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, at 25 position in the liver, 25-hydroxycholecalciferol is formed, and it is the major storage and circulatory form of vitamin D3. 25-hydroxycholecalciferol, it is calcidiol, having two alcoholic groups, one of the steroid nucleus at position number 3, and other hydroxylation at position number 25 of side chain. So when two OL groups are present, so it is called calcidiol. Still, it is not the active form. It is the storage form and circulatory form, no doubt, but it has to be converted into active form, that is 125-dihydroxycholecalciferol. Requirements of vitamin D. The RDA is for infants up to 12 months, 400 international unit, that is 10 microgram. 40 international unit is equal to 1 microgram, and 400 international unit is equal to 10 microgram. Children up to 1 year to 18 years, it is 600 international unit per day. Adults up to the age of 70 years, it is 600 international units per day, while the adults having greater than 70 years of age, it is 800 international unit, that is 20 microgram per day. Higher therapeutic doses, that is not toxic doses, higher than the RDA but within the therapeutic range, not producing the toxicity, it is claimed that that dose reduces the risk of insulin resistance, obesity, and the metabolic syndrome, diabetes mellitus, as well as preventing various types of cancers in our body. Now let us discuss the conversion of cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, into its active form. The active form, chemically it is 1,25 dihydroxycholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol is vitamin D3. 125 dihydroxy, two OH group are attached at position number 1 and 25. So it is 125 dihydroxy cholecalciferol or 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3. It is also known as calcitriol because it is having 3 alcohol group, and it is the most potent naturally occurring metabolite of vitamin D, performing the various biological function in our body. Vitamin D2 and vitamin D3 from our diet, or vitamin D3 from the epidermis of our skin, are not biological active but are converted in vivo into the active form by two sequential hydroxylation reactions. First, hydroxylation at 25 position in the liver, catalyzed by a specific hydroxylase, that is 25 hydroxylase, resulting in the formation of 25 hydroxycholecalciferol, that is 25 hydroxycholecalciferol or calcidiol, having two OH group. Remember, one of the steroid nucleus at position number 3 and one additional OH group at position number 25 in the liver by the enzyme 25 hydroxylase, which is the main circulating and storage form, not biological active yet. Second hydroxylation at one position by 25 hydroxycholecalciferol 1 hydroxylase. It is also known as 1-alpha hydroxylase, found primarily in the kidneys, resulting in the formation of 125 dihydroxycholecalciferol or vitamin D3. It is calcitriol because it contains 3 hydroxyl groups. By virtue of two hydroxylation reactions at position number 1 and 25, I repeat, it contains 3 hydroxyl groups at position number 1, 3 and 25. 3 is already present in steroidal nucleus, 2 hydroxylation at 25 in the liver and at position number 1 in the kidney. So it is called a calcitriol. Both hydroxylase enzymes, that is alpha 1 hydroxylase or 25 hydroxylase, 120 hydroxylase of liver and 1 alpha hydroxylase of the kidney. Both hydroxylase enzymes of liver and kidney require magnesium, cytochrome P450, monooxygenase system in the liver, NADPH, and molecular oxygen. Active form of vitamin D, that is 125 dihydroxycholecalciferol or calcitriol, is regulated by different modulators. First, it is controlled by regulation of renal 1-alpha hydroxylase. This alpha 1 hydroxylase is present in the kidney, which causes the hydroxylation at position number 1. So conversion to 125 dihydroxycholecalciferol is regulated by renal hydroxylase enzyme. while this renal hydroxylase enzyme 1-alpha hydroxylase activity is increased by hypocalcemia. When serum calcium level is decreased, activity of this hydroxylase enzyme activity is increased, which causes the increased synthesis of 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol, that is the active form of the vitamin D3. Hypocalcemia also stimulates the secretion of parathyroid hormone from the parathyroid 4 glands present in the neck, which in turn increases 1-alpha hydroxylase enzymes in the kidneys. While this hydroxylase enzyme in the kidney, its activity is also inhibited by a feedback mechanism by active form of vitamin D3, that is calcitriol. So calcitriol and renal 1-alpha hydroxylase, they also control or modulate each other. When this calcitriol is more, the activity of 1-hydroxylase decreases. When this level is active form of vitamin D3 is low, it activates the renal 1-alpha hydroxylase enzymes from the kidneys. Response to low plasma calcium. Low plasma calcium or serum calcium is not tolerated by our body because calcium performs very vital physiological functions. When hypocalcemia is there, it stimulates the synthesis of parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone increases the alpha-1 hydroxylase enzymes in the kidney, which results in the increased synthesis of active form of vitamin D, that is 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol or calcitriol. This calcitriol or active form of vitamin D along with the parathyroid hormone, they have three similar functions. Both of them increase calcium mobilization from the bone, resulting in the increased calcium level of the blood. Both of them increase renal reabsorption of calcium from the kidneys, and both of them decrease renal excretion of calcium from the kidneys. So these three similar actions of active form of vitamin D and parathyroid hormone results in the elevation of plasma calcium. Active form of vitamin D, beside these three functions in association with the parathyroid hormone, also increases the calcium absorption from intestine by increasing the synthesis of calcium binding protein DBP. The result is increased plasma calcium level. So in such a way, in this way, the homeostasis of calcium, which is very vital, is maintained. In other words, we can say vitamin D metabolism is both regulated by calcium, and it also regulates calcium homeostasis. So both are involved with each other. Vitamin D is increased in response to the hypocalcemia, and increased vitamin D synthesis increases the calcium serum or plasma level. Biochemical functions of vitamin D. The overall function of vitamin D is to maintain plasma calcium level by regulating its absorption from the intestine and maintaining its homeostasis. Vitamin D is considered as prohormone, and its active form, that is calcitriol 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol, is considered as a hormone. This calcitriol binds with the receptor, and this calcitriol receptor complex interacts with the nuclear DNA. It attaches with the hormone response elements present on the DNA, and either selectively stimulates or represses gene transcription of the target cells. Effects on intestine: increased absorption of calcium and phosphate by increased synthesis of calcium binding protein, that is calbindin through binding to DNA and then increased transcription synthesis of the calcium binding protein. This is a typical steroidal hormone action. That is, they act on the response elements, hormone response elements on the DNA and control the gene transcription. So net effect on the intestine is increased absorption of calcium and phosphate by the active form of calcitriol. Effect on bone. In osteoblasts of bone, this calcitriol stimulates calcium uptake for deposition as calcium phosphate. That is, it promotes mineralization of the bones. But when plasma calcium is low, its action is reversed. It stimulates the mobilization of calcium and phosphate from the bone by a process that requires protein synthesis and presence of parathyroid hormone. So if hypocalcemia is there, this active form of vitamin D causes demineralization. In normal calcium level, it causes mineralization. But this if hypocalcemia is there, it causes demineralization, which needs increased protein synthesis and the presence of parathyroid hormone. What are the net result? The result is an increased plasma calcium and phosphate ions concentration in our body. Effect on kidney. Active form of vitamin D decreases the renal excretion and increases the reabsorption of calcium and phosphorus. Normally, calcium and phosphorus both are filtered in the kidney and excreted but reabsorbed according to the need of the body. So effect of 125 dihydroxy D3 or calcitriol is to decrease renal excretion and increase the reabsorption of calcium and phosphorus through the kidneys. The recent studies also have shown some other important functions of vitamin D. Vitamin D is involved in insulin secretion by the pancreas. It also causes the increased synthesis and secretion of parathyroid and thyroid hormones through gene transcription. It inhibits production of interleukin by activated T lymphocytes and of immunoglobulin by activated B lymphocytes. Interleukin and immunoglobulin, they are inflammatory mediators and damaging the cells. Their damaging effect is prevented by or inhibited by the active form of vitamin D3. Vitamin D or active form of vitamin D is also involved in the differentiation of monocyte precursor cells. The monocytes, they ultimately converted into macrophages. So its precursor cells are differentiated, and this differentiation is controlled by vitamin D. Vitamin D is also involved in the modulation of cell proliferation. This is the summarized diagrammatic presentation of metabolism and action of vitamin D. In the skin, the 7-dehydrocholecalciferol, which is the intermediate of cholesterol synthesis, is photolyzed and converted into cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3. This vitamin D3 circulates and goes to the liver, where it is hydroxylated at 25 position. So 25 hydroxy cholecalciferol is formed, which circulates, and in the kidney it is converted into 125 dihydroxy cholecalciferol by the enzyme 1-alpha hydroxylase. This 1-alpha hydroxylase enzyme activity is increased by low phosphate level and parathyroid hormone, but inhibited by the product, that is negative feedback by 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3. This active form of vitamin D3, that is calcitriol, has the effect on the intestine, increasing the absorption of calcium and phosphate from the intestine. And here it is the mechanism of action, how this calcitriol enhances the gene transcription by action on the hormone response element of the DNA, then increase transcription and ultimately increase translation synthesis, resulting in the synthesis of increased calcium binding protein, which results in the main increased absorption of calcium and phosphate from the small intestine. The parathyroid hormone also, along with the vitamin D3 or active form of vitamin D3, they increase the mobilization of calcium from the bone into the plasma, causing the increased level of the plasma calcium in response to hypocalcemia. Basically, this vitamin D3 causes the mineralization of the bone by deposition of calcium, but in the presence of parathyroid hormone, which is secreted in response to the hypocalcemia, then both of them, they cause the demineralization or mobilization of calcium from the bone into the plasma to maintain its crucial and vital level and homeostasis of calcium. Calcitonin is also an hormone secreted by thyroid gland. Thyroid gland secretes two types of hormones: thyroxine, the main metabolic hormone, and calcitonin. Calcitonin controls the calcium homeostasis. It has opposite effect of the parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone and calcitonin both are antagonists of each other so far their actions are concerned in the calcium homeostasis. Vitamin D is considered as a hormone in its action, and for that these points justify this claim. Calcitriol is considered as an important calciotropic hormone, while cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, is the prohormone. Calcitriol is acting as a hormone and cholecalciferol is the prohormone. Vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, is synthesized in the skin by the UV rays of sunlight. So it is synthesized in another tissue and performs action on other tissues. The biological active form of vitamin D, calcitriol, is also produced in the kidney, another different organ. But the target organs are intestine, bone, and kidney. Thus, it is produced in one organ and acts upon distant target organs, which are the functions of the hormones. Calcitriol action is similar to that of steroidal hormone, increasing the gene transcription. And calcitriol synthesis by a negative feedback mechanism, which is also a property of the hormone. These 5-6 points, they justify that actions of vitamin D are like of a hormone, not of a vitamin. Clinical aspects. Deficiency symptoms: bone pain, muscle weakness, hypertension, increased risk of death from cardiovascular diseases, cognitive impairment in older adults, that is reasoning and learning defects. It may precipitate severe asthma in children, and two main conditions are associated with its deficiency, that is rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults. Vitamin D has also been linked to many other diseases, and on the especially the cardiovascular system, and this is based on the follow-up studies for 10 years. Heart ailments, heart attacks or strokes. It is claimed by recent studies that vitamin D deficiency is far better indicator of future heart attack than cholesterol level. And it is also claimed that most organs and tissues of human body have vitamin D receptors. That's why vitamin D has got different type of diverse actions on almost all the tissues of our body. It may result into the deficiency may result into the peripheral artery diseases resulting in hypertension. It prevents from the cancer, asthma, type 2 diabetes, hip or non-spinal fractures. It prevents from the depression. It has got the beneficial role in Alzheimer's disease, that is the senile dementia, and it also has got the preventive role in certain autoimmune diseases such as multiple sclerosis, that is the myelin sheath defects or damage in the central nervous system. It is the autoimmune disease of the central nervous system. Crohn's disease, autoimmune diseases of the small intestine resulting into the digestion problem, and it is also helpful in type 1 diabetes, which is also considered to be an autoimmune disease. Normal range of vitamin D. As I have already told you, the major circulating form of vitamin D is 25-hydroxycholecalciferol, that is calcidiol. It is not calcitriol, which is an active form. Thus, the total serum calcidiol or 25-hydroxycholecalciferol level is currently considered the best indicator of vitamin D supply to the body, either from cutaneous synthesis or from dietary intake. Normal range is more than 30 nanogram per ml of the serum or plasma. If that level is between 20 to 29, that is insufficient. And if between 10 to 19 nanogram per ml, that level of plasma vitamin D is deficient. The person is having a definite deficiency and needs supplements or more exposure to the sunlight. A severe deficiency reflects the serum level less than 10 nanogram per ml. So these are the normal ranges of plasma vitamin D or serum vitamin D level, and that is the level of calcidiol, which is generally taken throughout the world and which is the indicator of the vitamin D supply or deficiency in our body. Toxicity occurs when the serum level increases 150 nanogram per ml, and toxic symptoms they are developed. Normally in urban areas we are less exposed to the sunlight, and most of us after the age of 40 they are insufficient or deficient in vitamin D, and we also get the dietary or therapeutic injections in the form of active form of vitamin D or other forms of vitamin D3 so that we can combat with the deficiency. But the best treatment is to expose ourselves to the sunlight which is present throughout Pakistan, and we can overcome the deficiency or insufficiency of vitamin D. Deficiency of vitamin D. Either it could be dietary deficiency, that is exogenous, or it could be non-exposure to sunlight, that is endogenous deficiency. The deficiency causes a net demineralization of bone, resulting in rickets in growing children and osteomalacia in adults. The common signs are softening and weakening and bowing of legs. In rickets, there is incomplete mineralization, while in osteomalacia, there is demineralization of pre-existing bone. You see the difference. In growing children, the mineralization is not complete. So incomplete mineralization results in softening of bones. While in osteomalacia, there is also a softening of bone, but it is initially the mineralization is complete, And now it is the demineralization of the pre-existing bones in osteomalacia in adults which result in the softening of bones. To understand mineralization and demineralization, the organic matrix of the bone is made up of generally of collagen, which is deposited by nanocrystals of hydroxyl apatite or hydroxyapatite. Hydroxyapatite or hydroxyl apatite, these are the names given to the crystals made up of calcium, phosphate and oxygen in the form of OH groups. So calcium phosphate is deposited as mineral in the organic bone matrix made up of collagen, resulting in the mineralization of the bone. So in rickets there is incomplete mineralization, and while in osteomalacia there is demineralization of pre-existing bone. In both the conditions the result is softening of the bones. Another condition, renal ricket, is also recognized. In chronic renal failure, 1-alpha hydroxylase activity of the kidney is decreased, which results to decreased synthesis of active form, that is calcitriol, which results in the renal osteodystrophy, softening of the bone because of the renal cause in the chronic renal failure. So that condition is termed as renal ricket, and it is generally treated by calcitriol preparations. Deficiency of vitamin D may result rickets in growing children. The main effects of rickets are stunted growth and bowing of legs. The diagnostic laboratory findings are serum low level of calcium and phosphate, and the enzyme activity of alkaline phosphatase is increased. So increased level of alkaline phosphatase, low level of calcium and low level of phosphate, they are diagnostic for the growing rickets in the growing children. The other effects are odd-shaped skull, pigeon chest may be observed. The elbow, wrist, knee joints, ankle joints, they are swollen, enlarged and painful. Pelvic deformities can be seen, and even multiple fractures can be seen. Odd-shaped ribs or beaded appearance of the lower ribs can be seen. Spine deformities may also result in the long-standing cases of the rickets. This is the X-ray finding of 2-year-old child, ricketic child, showing the marked bowing of legs. The whiteness is showing radiolucent mineralized bone, radio-opaque mineralized bone, while the black bones or less white bones, they are radiolucent and showing decreased mineralization. So this is the radiological presentation showing the incomplete mineralization of the bones in the 2-year-old child, showing radio opacity in the upper bones and radiolucency, that is showing the demineralization or incomplete mineralization in the lower ends of the femur. This is the pictorial presentation of osteomalacia, the counterpart of vitamin D deficiency in adults. Bowed legs, they are marked in adults, while the other effects of the rickets are generally not encountered in the osteomalacia, except the bowing of legs. Here you see the normal mineralization of long bones, and it is the demineralized femur bone which reflects the deficiency of, due to deficiency of vitamin D, less deposition of salts of calcium and phosphate in the bones. This is the comparison of clinical presentation of rickets and osteomalacia. I have also already explained you, in rickets there is skeletal pain and deformities, especially bow-legged. Fracture susceptibility is increased, weakness and hypotonia in muscles, disturbed and stunted growth in rickets, ricket rosary, that is beaded appearance of costochondrial junctions, Harrison grooves, indentations of the lower ribs, hypocalcemia, hypophosphatemia, and increased level of alkaline phosphatase. This is the clinical presentation of the rickets. While in osteomalacia, it is not so dramatic. All these conditions, they are not met, but only the bowing of leg is prominent, which uh, is seen in the long-standing case of osteomalacia. But diffuse skeletal pain may be there, bone tenderness is there, fracture may occur, gait disturbance is because of bowed legs, and proximal muscle weakness is seen, and hypotonia of muscles is also seen. This is the presentation comparison of rickets and osteomalacia. Rickets in growing children, osteomalacia in adults, especially after the age of 40 years. Toxicity. The vitamins are non-toxic, especially all water-soluble vitamins. They are not stored and they are not toxic, except riboflavin, that is vitamin B6, which is slightly toxic. While the fat-soluble vitamins, they may be toxic because they are deposited and stored in the body. Vitamin A and vitamin D, they are toxic, while vitamin E and K, both are fat-soluble vitamins, they are non-toxic. They do not produce toxicity in higher doses, while vitamin A and vitamin D, they are toxic and may produce toxicity. Especially vitamin D, it is stored mainly in the liver and is the most toxic in overdoses. The toxicity depends upon the weeks of doses or exposure time, okay, how much dose of vitamin D you take for how many days and weeks. And it is also dependent upon the amount of dose. If the increased doses are taken, the toxicity may develop within a week. But if the doses are less but far greater than the RDA, the toxic effect may be produced in 10 weeks, 30 weeks, or even more. So this area is the toxic area for vitamin D, where doses of vitamin D produce toxic effects. Either high doses, the toxicity may develop within a week, or low doses, it may be developed in many weeks. The signs and symptoms may be loss of appetite, nausea, thirst, stupor, deposition of calcium due to hypercalcemia in many soft tissues, particularly in arteries and kidney. That deposition or calcification of the soft tissues is called calcinosis. With email address and resource books, thank you very much.